This is Bobby Rempe from Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike your match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening, and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. We are originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening. If you should see fit to drop an email over to this show, I'm more than happy to not only receive it, but put it out over the airwaves should you see fit. And that email address is greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter. Coming up in about 12 to 13 minutes from now, a guy who has been on the show a handful of times, small handful of times over the course or genesis of this show. Originally, he was the sales and marketing director for Traeger way back in the day. Eventually left there, went over to Mac Grills, and that's where he is now. Also was a longtime syndicated barbecue and grilling radio host all along the Pacific Northwest, hosting Cooking Outdoors with Mr. Barbecue. I am, of course, talking about none other than Bruce Bjorkman, Mr. Barbecue. A lot of cool things going on with the Mac pellet-style cookers. Of course, we all know here, fans of this show, that the pellet cooker market is continuing to expand, continuing to become more and more popular in the backyards, or just adding to the backyard arsenal. I have 3 pellet cookers. I love each and every one of them in specific ways. So I am certainly a fan. There's no doubt about that. And Bruce Bjorkman will be here to talk about the latest and greatest of Mac grills out there available in the market today. And then at 9:35, we will be talking to now the reigning Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off champion, Walt Moulton from Rocky Top Barbecue. Little less than 2 weeks ago, Walt went down to Lynchburg, Tennessee, had himself a great cook, and is now the world champion of barbecue and grilling, or barbecue as it relates to the Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue. That will wrap the first hour. Then we'll go to the second hour at 10:14. We will be joined by a longtime sponsor of this show, which I appreciate, but more importantly, the pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers and the creator of the King of the Smokers, Sterling Ball, will be joining us as well. So very much looking forward to the next 120 minutes or so as this show unfolds. Again, Bruce Bjorkman and Walt Moulton in the first hour, and Sterling Ball in the second hour. With Sterling, of course, we'll be talking about a number of different barbecue and live fire cooking items, not the least of which, of course, is his securement of a back-to-back California Barbecue Association's Team of the Year victory. So congratulations to Sterling. We'll talk about that as well as what else has been going on with his 2017 competition, which, again, by the way, don't let it fall underneath the radar because he's not cooking 50 times a year. He's had himself a great season yet again. So looking forward to that conversation as always. Again, email address, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. And I'm happy to get you up if you see fit to write in and talk to me about the show. Let me get that email out of here. Don't need that. All right, let everybody know that the show is on. Hit them up on the Facebooks, the Twitter, the Pinterest, the Google Plus, all that good stuff. OutdoorCookingChannel.com is a video syndication partner of this show that will be ending at the end of the year. Of course, you can get the show at Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show. That will probably be the main go-to here as the new year unfolds. Although we still are looking at a YouTube, possible going live to both avenues, depending on how things shake out. Or you can just forego all the video stuff if you want to and head on over to the audio stream only, which can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. A lot of you have asked me over the past week or so. Of course, I was not in last week. We had Halloween. We had some issues here that just weren't going to allow me to do a show and then do some other fatherly duties a week ago. But we're back and better than ever here right now. So within that last 10 days or so, a lot of you have asked me about the chat room that will be going away at the first of the year. And will there be some kind of a gap fill? And to that, I say yes, to have some kind of gap fill in place. I have gone ahead and set up an account with Slack, like what some of you people do at work, Slack. And if you go to the Barbecue Central show, or how about, here's where you need to go to get on Slack. Go to the BBQ Central Show .slack, SLACK.com, and you can sign up. It's free, by the way. You can sign up for an account there, and then you would hit the live chat option. There's a number of different chat options or channels. There's specific verbiage that Slack people use. I'm still not there yet, but you can feel free at the turn of the year to head over there, and I will monitor chat as best I can. Again, I'm not overly conflicted about not necessarily having a chat option because I don't usually read it too much because you can easily get lost. So we've had this conversation before, so I'm not, just like, with video, I could definitely see doing away with the video feed, maybe still having it on Facebook, but having it just go back to an audio thing. And then, of course, that would be the second reason that I would go to YouTube as well, because that does have a live chat option. So, and I believe the chat actually integrates with XSplit, which is the software program that I use to press out the live feeds. So more on that to roll out. But in the meantime, you can go, and by meantime, I mean after the first of the year, you can go to the bbqcentralshow.slack.com and you can monitor chat there. There are some announcements that are going to be going on there. We'll see how it works. I mean, it could be a good, as I say, gap fill, or we'll just eventually still go to Facebook, but for chat, we'll monitor on YouTube, all that good stuff. I also like Slack because it does give you different channels. So during off hours, you can go to, for instance, I could start a channel that says like guest questions, and at your convenience, you can go there and drop off a question you would like to have a potential guest get asked, and I'll mix those in. As I just mentioned a couple minutes ago, there's a place where I could go to just post announcements as they're coming in, so you can be up to date, so you might want to check that out. Facebook is actually supposed to be releasing their own video studio platform. I don't have access to that yet. I've had some people that are working behind the scenes with me put out feelers to certain top people at Facebook to see when I might be getting that option, because I'm hopeful that there might be kind of an all-encompassing video platform there, since I am going to Facebook Live through XSplit right now. That might include a chat room, but maybe it won't. But that it's kind of like huge news is because Facebook does not have that integrated going live studio platform like a Ustream or a Twit, or for that matter, a YouTube that does have a studio platform built into it. So it's slowly rolling out. I don't know if any of you have accessibility to that right now or not. You have to kind of search around for it, but I do not. So more on that if I get it. And then, as I have kind of been mentioning here over the last couple shows, I'm in the process of getting a new YouTube page put together, and then I will get it launched. Links will replace the old ones with the new ones, so you can just hit the particular link and away you go. You might also notice that if you go to the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com, the very top, looks a little bit different. We have some new show buttons. We have a couple in the stable right now that are not being released because they're technically not active yet, specifically the YouTube page. So look for those new buttons instead of that big red one that was at the top that was just getting you audio stream. You can now link right to the Facebook Live video. You can also link right to the live audio only. And again, as we continue to grow in places that we're broadcasting to, buttons will be introduced right at the top. Very clean, very easy to hit. Click on them and away you go. And I would like to thank Matt Frampton for instituting those, and a shout out to my sister Kate for making those buttons. For as much as I do know about technology, I can't make everything. So I appreciate their help. Thanks again to Matt and Kate. And again, also at the beginning of the year, I'll be releasing a Best of the Barbecue Central Show supplement in the podcast feed. So I'll have a segment coming up with John Solberg here shortly so we can kind of go through all of that. But before we get to Mac Grills and Bruce Bjorkman, I want to talk to you about Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking products and grilling supplies will get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at BigPapaSmokers.com has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Ball, Big Papa Smoker himself. From award-winning rubs and sauces to American-made grills, smokers, and drums, Big Papa Smokers has something that can make every outdoor cook a little or a lot a bit better. Whether you're in the backyard or you're on a competition circuit, Big Papa's has something just for you. Well known for the popular seasonings like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, and Cash Cow, they also combine forces with Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what is now known as the West Coast Offense. Hey, aside from those rubs, Big Papa's is the owner of Granny's Barbecue Sauce. Looking for a new go-to sauce that will please everyone? Granny's traditional yet powerful flavor that reminds us of why we fell in love with barbecue in the first place. Head on over to BigPapaSmokers.com to order yours. And aside from their premium selection of rubs and sauces, they also have really cool grills and cookers. You're looking for a versatile smoker, easy to use, that we'll talk about next segment? The Mac 2-Star General is the one you might want to be looking at. If you're not a pellet cooker fan, you can look at the Old Hickory Ace BP, the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on its competition barbecue trailer. If you're a backyard barbecue enthusiast like me, and you're looking for a durable and versatile grill that will last forever, the M Grill from Texas just might be what you're looking for. They're built like tanks, according to Big Papa himself. If you don't know what grill you need, you can't go wrong with anything that's featured at BigPapaSmokers.com. They come in every shape and size for the backyard cook and the competition person. It's clear that Big Papa Smokers is the place to go for all things barbecue. Every product featured on their website has been hand-selected to help you barbecue better. Check them out at 877-828-0727 or shop on their website, BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers, that's plural, .com. All right, Bruce Bjorkman from Mac Grills coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
The 2018 grant program from Smithfield is officially closed. Oh, I told you it was going to be popular. Over 250 applications were taken in during the opening. Another huge response. More to come on that as it is released. However, I can tell you this, the 2018 Committed Cooks program will be ready to jump with info here in the next couple weeks, so keep hitting the website, smokinwithsmithfield.com, to get in on that. Again, that's smokinwithsmithfield.com. My first guest tonight, Sales and Marketing Director for Mac Grills. He was also a longtime host of Cooking Outdoors with Mr. Barbecue, which aired up and down radio stations in the Pacific Northwest, here to talk about the Mac Grill and some other barbecue items. None other than Mr. Barbecue himself, Bruce Bjorkman, joining me. Bruce, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, Greg. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely fabulous, Bruce. Appreciate you asking, and more importantly, making time for the show this evening. So I guess before we get into the Mac's inners and outers, Mac really leading the way as it relates to that higher end of pellet cooker offerings in the market. And we'll get into that Mac stuff here in just a second. But let's take a stroll back down memory lane just for a second, Bruce. As many folks probably know. Yeah, right. Hold on. You spent a lot of time at Traeger back in the day. Not the one we kind of know now, but, that original Traeger look and feel. Fast forward to where we are today. From a pellet cooker standpoint, are you surprised at where the industry is right now, or did you think there would have been more market penetration by all manufacturers at this point?
I think the thing I'm most surprised about, I think, is just the proliferation of the many different brands of pellet grills that are now being sold in North America. At last count was about 40. And I saw Joe Traeger Friday at a not very good event. We buried Randy Traeger last Friday.
Oh, dear.
He passed away, it'll be 2 weeks ago this upcoming Sunday, of complications from a liver transplant, unfortunately. But, Joe and I were talking about the fact that how much the pellet grill industry has grown since they first introduced the pellet grill back in 1986. And he was telling me that from what he's heard, Traeger pellet grills this year will do about $600 million in sales.
Certainly, the brand and the name continues to grow out there as it relates to Traeger. And there was, I think, a middle section of that whole lifespan that was a little shaky, but whoever's in charge of it now really seems to be trying to bring it back to that touch, feel, look good Traeger that was originally put out of the market. Do you kind of feel the same way about that?
I think they're doing a really good job of marketing. I mean, from what I understand, they have about a $10 million marketing/advertising budget, and they've definitely been spending that money. But, here's the great thing. I mean, people ask me because of my long tenure with Traeger, well, don't you get kind of pissed off because, they're doing so well? It's like, no, because I truly believe that a good percentage of those people that come into the pellet grill market, whether through Traeger or through Green Mountain or through Louisiana, that a good percentage of those folks will eventually become Mac grill owners. It's just evolutionary. I mean, think about the first car that you ever owned, or the first car I ever owned. And I think, we bought a used vehicle and scraped together what money we had to get our first car, and then we began to evolve and purchase better vehicles and maybe used one or new ones, as we grew and matured and our income grew. So we basically stepped ourselves up in the class of automobile we owned. And I think the same thing's true in the grill world as well.
Bruce Bjorkman, Director of Sales and Marketing at Mac Grills, joining me here on the show. MacGrills.com, M-A-K, MacGrills.com, if you want to check it out here while we're talking. Bruce, I guess to dive in a little further on that, as it relates to different manufacturers in the market, does Mac keep extensive tabs on everybody else that is making pellet cookers, or do you just worry about what you guys are worrying and do you guys just worry about what you're doing and then figure that there's so much penetration left and so much kind of market for everybody? You stay in your lane, everybody else might be staying in their lane, and that's all you're really concerned with.
Well, I don't know what you would classify as extensive. I mean, definitely you want to be aware of what's going on, not only in just our segment or category of the barbecue industry, but you also want to be aware of what's going on in the barbecue industry overall. So yeah, we do pay attention to what's happening. Do we spend hours and hours and hours doing that? No, because we are always looking for ways to improve what we manufacture and to bring new innovation to the pellet grill category. We're working on things right now that, Greg, when they're launched, when they're released, going to blow everybody's mind, and you can take that to the bank.
Bruce,
and collect interest on it.
For the folks who maybe aren't aware or overly aware of Mac pellet grills, or they're just tuning into the show for the first time, can you give me that little elevator pitch of the company and, I guess more importantly, what you think sets Mac apart from some of those other offerings in the market?
Sure. Well, let's hope that the skyscraper is pretty tall. Anyway, so we have a long elevator ride. But Mac Grills is a Dallas, Oregon-based company. One of the most important foundations of our company is keeping American manufacturing jobs viable. And that's why we're proud to be American-made. We do everything we can to buy locally, regionally, nationally, USA-made product and components and all that go into our grills. And every Mac grill is manufactured. If you drilled a hole in my wall, took a Sawzall and cut a hole in the wall in my office, you look right into the plant where they're manufactured right behind my office in Dallas, Oregon. The thing about Mac, and I would tell you this is a long time pellet grill owner. I began cooking on pellet grills in 1991. And the thing that blows my mind continuously is the amount of innovation that Mac has brought to the marketplace. I mean, long before I joined them, they had already brought some significant new features to the pellet grill market. The pellet hopper dump door. I mean, what an easy thing to put on a grill, but yet nobody was doing it until Mac showed up and did it. The Flame Zone direct grilling area. We were the very first pellet grill company to offer that. The programmable meat probes on our pellet box with like over 20 different features was, again, the most, and is continuing to be the most innovative, feature-rich digital controller of any of the grill companies out there. So in 2013, we introduced Wi-Fi. We were the very first pioneers of the Wi-Fi control in grills. So if anything separates Mac from all the other grill companies out there, whether they're pellet, gas, or charcoal, or stick burner, it's innovation and bringing new, exciting things to the barbecue industry and pellet grills specifically.
Bruce, I think a lot of people might stereotypically get in their heads that for a company to be successful or continue to grow, you have to continually expand whatever is currently offered in your products offering portfolio with more and more and more items. What is Mac's thought on models that you offer, and I guess specifically how many models are you guys currently offering to date?
We've got 3 models at this point. Our 1-star, which is our entry-level pellet grill at $1,700. Our 2-star, which is our most popular and best-selling model, which is also our flagship model that we introduced back in 2009. That's $2,700. And then for people that are basically building outdoor kitchens or they're caterers or small restaurants, we have our Mac 3-star, which is all 304 stainless steel, and that's the retail price on that is $6,500.
And that's
we
going
are
more
in
in
another new product.
That it's going more of in a built-in kitchen type of atmosphere, or is it a freestander
right,
as well?
And now exactly outdoor
Okay.
kitchen. There's also an optional roll-around cart that you can purchase. So if you're a competition barbecuer or you're a caterer that does relatively medium-sized events, it would be a great product to have. And like I said, all 304 stainless steel. So it's, built for longevity and hard work and, give you great quality food every time you turn that thing on.
I think it's safe to say, Bruce, that as you peruse where price points are within the pellet cooker market, there's few that are kind of, within this realm. So let's be fair.
Right.
Let's recognize the fact that $1,700 for a base model is a little expensive, and it kind of goes up from there. But there has to be some features and benefits to go along with that. If it was just the same and that kind of price, you guys are probably getting away with it a little longer than everybody else. So what other features and benefits come along with the 1-star, the 2-star, the 3-star if you're looking at these kind of cookers?
Well, let's talk about, A, how they're manufactured, and B, what they're manufactured from. And one of the most important things, and again, I said it earlier, is we're proud to be American-made. The steel that goes into a Mac grill is not foreign steel. It's American-made steel. And it is going to be more expensive because of the unionization of steel workers in America as compared to government-subsidized steel manufacturing overseas. So that's an important consideration. The other thing is all the hardware, stainless steel hardware, including the rivets that go into our grills, those aren't inexpensive items. They're expensive items. And so, everything that goes into our grill is high caliber, high class, industrial quality for longevity. You're only going to buy a Mac grill one time. So is it expensive? Yeah. But you know what? We also pay our employees a decent living wage so that they don't have to go and live on government-subsidized programs. And I think that's an important aspect as well, So when you buy a Mac grill, you're getting a product that's going to last. You're getting a product that's precision-made. I mean, if you take our grills and you measure the tolerance from end to end, there's only 10 1,000th of an inch variation from one end to the other on a Mac grill. That's awesome precision, man. But the other thing on top of that is the fact of, like I said, the Pellet Boss controller with all the different functions. You can program up to 3 meat probes to alarm at different temperatures. You've got a countdown timer if you want to cook by time. You've got an elapsed timer to keep track of how long your meat's been on or how long you've been smoking or whatever. 3 programmable customized cooking programs that you can set up to change temperature based on either time or meat probe temp, and make 5 different temperature changes inside each one of those programs. The ash clean out that we've got, the removable fire pot, the pellet hopper dump doors, all those things are part and parcel to a Mac grill. And it's been interesting to see. And Greg, one of the things that really, I think, probably hurts my heart more than anything else is the lack of innovation that's going on in the pellet grill category. It seems like everybody is copying 1 or 2 people, and that's it. And it's like, come on, this is America. Let's put on our thinking caps and let's push the envelope when it comes to technology and innovation, and continue to move forward with what I think is one of the best ways to cook outdoors.
So aside from the controller and how it's put together, and as you were talking about, let's be innovative, let's continue to push that envelope, what's Mac doing to help further that cause?
Well, we're working on all kinds of different projects. I can't talk about them at this point because we're still under development. One thing I do need to mention, though, is that last year we introduced a feature on pellet grills that our pellet grills that absolutely set a new standard, and that is that all of our grills are equipped with a ceramic igniter with a lifetime warranty. And this ceramic igniter is basically rated for 90,000 on-off cycles.
Wow.
So if you took 90,000 and you divided that by 365 days a year, you're talking over 240 years of potential lifespan.
Wow.
And the great thing is, because it's ceramic, it's not going to corrode and it's not going to short out, and it goes from 0 to 2,012 degrees in 10 seconds. So when you turn on your Mac grill, you'll start seeing smoke coming out of the fire pot in about 30 to 45 seconds, full raging fire in 3 minutes.
Wow.
And you don't ever have to worry about that igniter going out. I mean, you've got such a great level of confidence knowing that I can go out, turn on my Mac, and it's going to start because of this flash fire ceramic igniter.
How quick can you get up to a 350, 375 degree cook temp if you want to from start?
I can go from 0 to 450 in between 17 and 20 minutes.
Wow. Now,
yeah.
In the world of pellet cookers, that's pretty quick.
Yes, it is. Yeah. We're not trying to be a gas grill. Gas grills are meant for really one thing, and that's to cook food hot and fast. This is a pellet grill. And I think that, 17 to 21 minutes is a pretty doggone great startup factor, especially with our new flame zone system that we introduced this year on the 2-star. It used to be that to go from 0 to 450, you were looking at probably 30, maybe up to 45 minutes. With this new system, it's virtually cut that in half.
From a I want to buy one standpoint, are there brick and mortar dealers? Is it all done online? What's the thought process there?
In May of this year, we basically eliminated our retail dealers and went factory direct, consumer direct. And we do have one internet dealer. That's BigPapaSmokers.com, or you can buy directly from MacGrills.com as well, or even pick up the phone and give us a call and buy over the phone. So we just felt that, you know, in order to sustain our business and grow our business, the best thing for us was to basically sell direct.
Do you worry because you aren't? It's probably a longer question than I want it to be, but just from a consumer's standpoint, you have pellet cookers. They are kind of newer to the market. For us that are aware of how easy they are to use, it is not many different steps in order to get where you want to be going. However, you know, the consuming public is always kind of lowest common denominator. So do you worry that since you aren't training a dealer who will then train a potential customer, that you are able to do that effectively through what I'm guessing is either social media or YouTube videos, and of course, calling in and talking to somebody at Mac to lead them through any potential issues?
Exactly. And we have a full-time service person by the name of Dennis Hogg, and that's basically what his job is he works full-time at providing support and service. We do have YouTube videos. We're in the process of working on getting those updated. But online stuff, you know, we've got a great community on Facebook. We have 2 Facebook pages, Mac Grill Fans and then Mac Grills, the company page. So you've got a whole variety of different places to go to learn more. And, you know, you can email us or pick up the phone and give us a call, and we'll take all the time we need, you know, with you to help you. It's been interesting that, you know, the grill is pretty doggone intuitive, and our manuals we get a lot of compliments from people about, you know, how well written our manuals are and easy to follow, and the instructions on operating the pellet boss and all. It's not a difficult thing. And if I tell people, listen, if I can do it, you can do it. Because in my house, right now in my hall closet, our toolbox has got a padlock, a combination padlock on it, and only my wife knows the combination. So here's a guy that's, you know, I'm Mr. Unhandyman. And if I can go into our grill and operate it and replace things if I need to, if I can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do it.
Bruce, one last question. I appreciate the time this evening. You know, you did the radio show for, you know, maybe 10 years or so. You've seen a lot of
15,
stuff.
Man.
15 years. Sorry about that.
That's right.
You know, you competition barbecue judge. You've seen a lot of cooking. What are some of the biggest trends that you've seen come and go in your time in the industry?
Oh, boy. You know, I think the thing that really surprises me is the continued expansion of the joy of barbecue and just how it continues to grow year after year after year. The popularity of barbecuing, grilling, and smoking. It's unending, and it really continues to just expand every single year. So I think that's one thing. The other aspect is competition barbecuing. Geez, when I was doing competition barbecuing in the early 90s, competitions were few and far between, especially here in the Northwest. Today, holy cramoly, I think there's probably a good 20 comps per weekend almost every month of the year. So that's been really surprising. And then just the number of cookers, the cooking devices that have come onto the marketplace since the early 90s has just been unreal. And these new devices that guys are using with their charcoal grills and their water smokers and their Kamados with the fan systems and all, that's been very interesting to see that develop as well.
Bruce Bjorkman is the Director of Sales and Marketing at Mac Grills. Again, the website, macgrills.com. If you have any questions, he will be there to answer, along with Dennis as well. Bruce, really appreciate the time so much, my friend, and we'll do it again soon.
Greg, thank you so much for the opportunity to come on your show, and continue. Hey, man, and continued success to you, and congratulations on just how your show continues to grow.
I appreciate it, Bruce. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Greg.
There he is. That is Bruce Bjorkman from
All
Mac
guests on the Barbecue
Grills.
Central
That's right.
show appear via the Smithfield Hotline.
And that's very
Yummy.
nice of him to say about my show. Somebody who did a show for 15 years on what some would consider the real radio. Times change, right? So I appreciate the kind words there. MacGrills.com, the website, if you want to check it out. All right, we got Walt Moulton coming up out of the break. I'm going to talk to you quickly about Cook Shack, a manufacturer of smoker ovens for barbecue and grilling lovers with any amount of experience, whether you barbecue in the backyard, on the competition circuit, or in a 5-star dining facility. Cook Shack has the unit that will do the job, and with a full line of barbecue sauces, spices, pellets, and wood chunks, it's the perfect one-stop shop. Cook Shack strives to be your barbecue resource center by offering cooking classes, online recipes, how-to videos, 2 blogs, smoke and grilling 101s, and a video cooking classroom. Check out their website at cookshack.com or follow them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, and Google+. Get advice or share your passion for barbecue on their world-class barbecue forum. Cook Shack pellet-fired smokers are the choice of champions because they were designed by a champion, who, by the way, is getting ready to race in the desert. Of course, I'm talking about Ed Fast Eddie Morin. The FEC 100 and PG 1000, always customer favorites. The PG 1000 can double as a smoker and grill, low and slow, hot and fast. Pellet grill line gives you the most for your money. Cook Shack residential electric smokers are the #1 smoker in that industry. High quality means high durability and versatility. Anything you can cook in your oven, you can make in a Cook Shack. Passion and dedication drives Cook Shack's manufacturing, with quality always being at the forefront. Get the best in barbecue since 1962. Call 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698, or visit the website cookshack.com. The Jack Daniels 2017 Grand Champ out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Ready to get on the air? Call 216-220-0966. Now, let's get back to the LeBron James of barbecue talk. Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Green Mountain Grills, manufacturers of some of the best Pellets cookers out there on the market today. If you're looking for a big cooker to house a lot of food, they got one for you. Medium size, yes, they got you covered there too. How about tailgate size? We are now drawing to the close of tailgate season. They got you covered there too. You can also get wood pellets to fire those cookers. Check out greenmountaingrills.com. I love my Green Mountain Grill. You can love yours as well. You just visit the website, greenmountaingrills.com. How about that? Absolutely. All right, thanks again to Bruce Bjorkman from Mac Grills joining me last segment. My next guest is now the reigning Jack Daniels World Barbecue Champ, here to recap the win, talk about their 2017 barbecue season, and a look ahead, potentially, to the king of the smoker is the pitmaster of Rocky Top Barbecue. First time to the show, Walt Moulton joins me. Walt, how are you, buddy?
Hello?
Hey, Walt. You got me, buddy? Hello?
Are you on?
I'm on. Are you on?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, here we go. Sorry about that. I had you muted. All right, Walt, so before we get into the Jack Daniels recap, maybe a little bit more about your background, how long you've been competing, all that good stuff.
We've been competing about 8 years. The first year or two, we was not too serious, a lot of partying, and we kind of got serious after my wife come along and kind of got me straightened out, got me on the right path.
You were having too much fun, it sounds like.
Yeah, and she come along and we was, she told me we was going to do this, we need to maybe try to win or do something a little bit better than party. So that's what we we kind of turned it around and just kept it getting better each year.
How long ago was that?
We've been cooking about 8 years. Me and her's been cooking about 6.5 years together.
How do you get introduced to competition barbecue? Do you have friends that were in it? I mean, obviously, being from North Carolina.
Well, the way I got into it was we just always had a lot of parties at the house, and people come over, and I just got to cooking in my backyard. Just an old offset smoker. You buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. Just all the time to cook and stuff. And they had a competition close to where I lived, and me and a bunch of buddies thought, well, we really knew how to cook, so we thought we'd go up there and try it. That's really how I got started. It just kind of escalated from there.
What are you cooking on right now, pit-wise?
Jambo.
Is it all KCBS stuff for you, or do you kind of mix around different sanctioning bodies?
It's strictly KCBS for me.
Now, to be clear, though, I mean, because you're kind of in that one of those meccas of barbecue. Obviously, the Carolinas, certainly known, Texas, Kansas City, Memphis, all that good stuff. So there's other sanctioning bodies around you. Is that anything you've ever toyed around with or thought about doing outside of KCBS, or not really?
No, not really. Just I don't know. I just like the KCBS. There's a lot around us, so that's just kind of where I started out, and that's just kind of what we follow.
Walt Moulton joining me here on the show, Pitmaster Rocky Top Barbecue. All right, Walt, so let's go ahead and take a look back at the magical weekend of the Jack Daniels. First and foremost, I guess, how do you qualify to go ahead and cook that?
We went to West Virginia, and we was fortunate enough to win grand up there, so that was the auto to the Jack, and that's how we got in this year.
Have you been down before?
Yes, we was down in 15. We was down. First time ever been there was 2015, and didn't fare too well. Of course, it's a new experience. You just want to experience everything, and I was, this year I just laid back and I knew what to expect, and just kind of went from there.
That first time down, do you kind of have that self-struggle with, hey, we want to go and really take it all in, because there is no guarantee unless you're able to win an automatic qualifier each and every year, which is probably a little unrealistic to think you can bank on that every year, or do that 7 within a certain amount of time frame, which again could be potentially a little unrealistic. So you get down there 2 years ago. Are you trying to figure out how much fun you can have while also making sure you're dialed back and looking at the cook in order to give yourself the best shot at winning? Is there a battle there that you're fighting with yourself?
Yeah, kind of. The first year I went down, I wanted to go through the distillery, and we went over on Friday, and I ended up backing out because my wife and mom and everybody went. I'm like we was so many people there, and we had to stay in line. I said, I've got stuff I need to be doing. I'm not going to worry about the distillery, but so I didn't do it, all uptight, wanting to make sure everything was just perfect and have a good cook. Well, this year I went down there and I went to the distillery and just a lot more relaxed,
So from a high level, Walt, how does the cook go for you over the course of the weekend?
It went real well, we started pulling our food off and pulling our chicken off and boxing it up and tasting it, and we'll go back I think about 11 o'clock it went to raining. It was about 39 degrees, and I think we got almost 2 inches of rain from 11 to 6 that morning.
Wow.
And 3 o'clock is when I light my pit. So, we had to fight the rain and all that, which, cooking on Jambo, it really don't affect it any. So it really wasn't too big of a deal for us. But, going back and fighting all that, it was muddy, and we had a good cook. We started tasting the food, and we liked our chicken. We liked everything we cooked that day. And I told my wife, I said, it's just kind of a crapshoot down here because you don't never know what you're going to get. I mean, you got a lot of celebrity judges, and it's just a lot of good teams and a lot of teams, and I told her, I said, I like to have this food at any contest we cook this year because we had good food.
A lot of the times you hear pitmasters say how good their food is, and inevitably it turns out to be exactly the opposite once their judges get their hands on it, of course. So were you surprised to see it not to kind of work out in your favor?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. I said, we got good food, but, when you like something, it's usually the opposite of what happens. And I thought we cooked everything the best we could, and the tenderness was spot on, and and we could have been very easily been in the middle of the pack, or you just don't never know. And this time it worked for us. We was fortunate that the ball fell our way.
Well, I've talked to pitmasters over the years of doing this show, and we talk about leading into the jack, especially guys that might be kind of in the middle of the country or even poking out a little further west. They tell me almost to a man or a woman that, especially when it comes to certain items, potentially brisket or some of these other things, that they will kind of deviate from what their normal program is, because once they get kind of south and east, they feel, and of course there is that discrepancy in experience from the judges' palate. Some people are getting sworn in overnight, then you have some master judges and everything in between, that they feel like they have to change it up a little bit. Do you stay with the flavor profile to get you there, or do you make changes?
I haven't never made changes. I've cooked in West Virginia. I've cooked in West Virginia. I've cooked Bainbridge, Georgia. I've been to Sam's Club in Bentonville, Arkansas. Tennessee, North Carolina. My stuff stays the same every week. I do not change nothing. I know people that do that, and man told me, a Big Mac tastes like a Big Mac in California as it does anywhere in the country. So if you got good barbecue, more likely it's going to work. You got to find that middle of the road, I think, that appeals to everybody. And that's the hardest thing to do is get something that's not offensive to nobody. I mean, you want them to not be able to find nothing wrong with it.
Well, as the overall awards are being called out, when you get to Reserve Grand Champ and you don't hear your name called, do you think that you have a shot at it, or do you think that you're out of it altogether?
Well, I have 3 calls, and, they're calling overall, and they get down to, I think, the 8th place team. I think they was 8th with a 700 score with no calls. And so when that happened, it kind of got me thinking, we've had 3 calls, and they've had no calls that have a 700. And I said, we could be in, we can have a top 5 finish maybe. And, they're calling on down. And I thought that I had a shot maybe at 3rd or reserve. And when they called Smoking Hogs for 3rd, because I thought they probably was going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
And, not knowing where my ribs were at, my ribs are being strong this year. And, they called Smoking Hogs for, I think, 3rd. And then I thought, well, maybe, I've got reserve. Because I knew American Dream had a good cook too, so. But they called him for reserve, and I looked at my wife. I said, we may have just won the jack. It just depends on where our ribs are at. I mean, we could have had a 90 place rib and just took us plumb out,
Yep.
And everybody's looking at me saying, "Oh, you won it." And I said, you don't never know until they call your name. I mean, there's nothing for certain.
So when you get the call as overall grand champ, what are some of those initial emotions that are washing over you? I mean, you're obviously there with your kid, your wife. How is that for you?
Yeah. Well, it was. I guess when it first happened, you really don't. You really don't really think about it. It's just you're going up there on stage, and I mean, there's music and there's people everywhere, and they're taking pictures, and you just can't. You won it, but it's just kind of one of them. it's just one of them feelings that you just you really don't sink in until after it's over with. You know, we just it's just pretty chaotic and just couldn't believe it. You know.
Does this easily qualify as the biggest win of your competition career?
Yes. I mean, I think if you win the Jack, I mean, it's one of the most sought after contests people try to get to, and to get to it and then to win it, it's just, it's a big win.
Aside from the nice check and the eternal bragging rights and all that good stuff, you do automatically get to go back and defend next year. We can lock you in for that right now, correct?
Yes, correct. Yes, we get to we get another auto entry again next year. So we're already looking forward to going.
Well, there's a lot of talk about which contest is kind of that most prestigious to win. You have an American Royal Invitational, obviously the Jack, which you just won. Of course, there's that Sam's Club National Championship, King of the Smoker. Now you have World Food Championship also coming into that conversation as well. Do you have any thoughts on which one you would rather win? I mean, obviously you've won the Jack, right? So easiest one to knock off. But if you didn't win any of them, do you have thoughts on which one you think is the most prestigious?
Well, I mean, they're all pretty prestigious. I mean, with the Jack, you get to be crowned as a world champion, and that's pretty prestigious. And the King of Smoker is pretty big because you've got some of the best cooks in the country, and then you got the Royal, which is another big one, and then you got the Sam's Club, and we was fortunate to go to the Sam's Club this year. We reserved it.
Mm-hmm.
We was like 1/100th of a point of winning it, and so we had a big month right there in October. But they're all big prestigious contests. I don't know if you could single one out or not.
There was a top 43rd finisher that was the international team. There was one year that, technically speaking, team by the name of Mad Cow won it, and they were from England. And that was a different time. I think it was like 2004. There was a little controversy over that whole win and stuff. But you see more and more international teams coming into the Jack. You see them taking on that Southern barbecue, or the American-style barbecue, as you guys know it, weekend in, weekend out. Do you foresee a time when an international team is going to be vying for that title in a legitimate way?
Well, I mean, not really. I mean, not to take nothing away from them about, their cooking skills and all that. I think it's just hard. Most of them come over here and they're cooking on different equipment, different wood, different. I mean, it's kind of hard to go out of your element and cook. I know if I had to go somewhere and cook on a different smoker, something I wasn't used to, it's hard to make up that ground. Not to say it can't be done, but they're already at a disadvantage with all the with equipment. The lack of equipment.
Walt Moulton is the pitmaster of Rocky Top Barbecue and is your 2017 Jack Daniel's Barbecue World Champion. That feels cool to say. Walt, really appreciate the time tonight. Again, congratulations on the big win. Thanks so much for doing it.
All right. Thank you.
You got it. There he is. Walt Moulton, world champion. Walt Moulton, by the way, if you need him. And he will have that title as he goes back next year to defend. That's the benefit of winning the Jack. You automatically, if you win it once, you get to do it twice. So that'll be his third time down. Maybe next time he will go down with a barbecue guru. Yeah, baby. You're looking to turn up the heat on your barbecue skills this summer? If so, you're going to need to get your hands on the most advanced ceramic cooker and high-tech barbecue accessory to hit the market this season. We're talking about the all-new Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition and CyberQ Cloud controller. Just launched by the Barbecue Guru earlier this year, the world's first temperature-controlled ceramic smoker and grill with a built-in power drive fan. It's going to give you the easiest and most successful barbecue experience to date. These must-have new products will make barbecuing easier than ever before and will be your new secret weapon for cooking delicious barbecue each and every time. Ready to buy? Of course. Head on over to bbqguru.com and grab them up while they last. If you have any questions about what to order, please call them 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU, or visit the website bbqguru.com. Again, if you already have a Barbecue Guru Pitmaster control device, any controller, you don't need to buy anything else. If you buy the Monolith grill, it already has the fan built right in. You don't need to worry about putting in on any adapters or anything at the bottom vent. This thing is all ready to go. All you have to do is hook up your controller, and you're ready to go. Again, if you want the most techie controller out there right now, CyberQ Cloud. Come on now. bbqguru.com, the website, 800-288-GURU. We're back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to Walt Moulton from Rocky Top Barbecue for joining me this past segment. Talking about his big win at, was a little less than 2 weeks ago. Right? A little more than a week ago. The 2017 Jack Daniels. Email from Alan. Subject line, Mac Grill quality. Greg, as a one-star owner, I can say the quality that Mac makes an impression right away. Just walking up to the Mac Grill is a different experience than what people are used to. Best controller on the market. It can cook for you. Makes wonderful food. That's Alan weighing in on the Mac Grill. So appreciate that. From a Mac Grill owner, unsolicited. Thank you. I think, was Mac the innovator of the open portion? Is that what Bruce said? Because I know Fast Eddie, when he was making his PG grills, that was one of the things that he was totally interested in doing, making sure you could go over the fire pot. And the Fast Eddie pellet grill line, Bruce was saying it was like 20 minutes to get up to from start to 450 was like 17 to 20 minutes. I think the PG 1000 is faster than that. Like, to see temperature changes in that pellet cooker is kind of amazing. If you have the chance to see one operate in person, I would suggest checking out the PG. It's pretty real. It's really cool. I think I saw one of the original ones when I was out in Oklahoma at a barbecue contest many years ago. What is now many years ago? Wow, that's sad. Didn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was many years ago. So anyway, that's your 2017 world champion at the Jack Daniels. And as he said, biggest win of Rocky Top career, guaranteed that they will be back defending next year, so that's good. Has there ever been a champion that has decided to not go back the next year in order to defend? That is a great question. We'll have to dig into that and see. At least not by choice. Maybe an emergency has prevented somebody, but you know this far in advance that you're going to be going to the Jack next year, you're probably making plans to do that unless something earth-shattering and foundation-breaking occurs that just doesn't allow you to do it. Who knows? All right, we're going to reload for the second hour. Got a big one coming up for you for those two interview segments. If you want to hit me up, more than happy to hear from you. The email is greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. Very easy. I will get you on the air if you want to get on the air. All right, stick around. We'll be right back.
This is Jenny Bell from Clarington, Ohio, and I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet for wieners. Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. Here we go. Congratulations, you. You have found the Barbecue Central show. We talk about barbecue and grilling right here each and every week. At least 50 times a year. Every once in a while, you miss me, like last week. I'm sure the most fastidious of Barbecue Central show fans will tell me the last time I missed before last. But I'm usually good for about 50 shows a week or so. Maybe more. We've done it before. We might do it again. Still to come on this here show this evening, Sterling Ball from Big Papa Smokers. We're going to be talking about his back-to-back California Barbecue Association Championship Awards. We're going to be talking about King of the Smoker. If you are pissed because you have not been invited to King of the Smoker, we will talk about how you can put yourself in a good position during next season to get that invite to King of the Smoker, because as everybody is well aware, it's really one of the most positively talked about competitions that happen over the last, I think this is the 6th year, or maybe it's been, this is the 6th or 7th year, I forget which one it is, but it is always given glowing reviews because of how it's run, because of all of the cook's needs that are met with what seems to be like ESP type precision. So we'll talk to him about that and how a team gets picked, and perhaps more importantly, how a list is generated and what are the perceptions of how a list is generated, what is the reality. And then we'll talk about some other hot barbecue topics. Sterling, of course, a huge proponent of trying to bring down the cost of competing and, of course, being more accessible to a general public. So we'll talk about how we can continue to grow the sport of competition barbecue, even though there appears to be powers that be that don't realize that they might be stifling its very growth. So Sterling Ball coming up next segment and the segment after that. We just talked to the grand champion of the Jack Daniel's World Barbecue Cook-Off. If you didn't get the top 10 results from whence it happened, allow me to regale you with those right now. As we all know, winning with a 708 Rocky Top Barbecue. We just talked it. I'm counting on this hand how many plus 700s or 700s or plus. Reserve grand champion. Walt made a mention of that during his segment. David and Christine Qualls, the American Dream Barbecue Team, 707.9. Wow. Third place, Smokin' Hogs Barbecue with a 707.4. Fourth place, kind of competition legend, Parrot Head Smokers, John Nilgis with a 704 flat. Wow. 5th place, Brad Leininger getting basted with a 703.4. 6th place, Justin McGlawn, Lucky's Q with a 702.8. Our Butts are Smoking, 7th place with a 702.2. 8th place, Drilling and Grilling Barbecue Team with a 700.5. Top 8 spots, 700 plus. There was an 8-point spread between 1 and 8. And 8th place had 700.5 points. 10th place, Big Bob Gibson's Barbecue with a lowly 698.8. Holy moly. Can you imagine in this day and age scoring a 6-9? I'm sorry, wait. Did I totally blow past my tallest man in the world? I'm sorry. That's my bad.
Get that big stuff out of here.
9th place, Shake and Bake Barbecue with a 698.8456. So this goes, I guess, a tie for 9th place. Shake and Bake and Big Bob Gibson's both finished with the same score, 698.8456. So there was some type of a tie break there that made Chris Lilly 10th place instead of 9th place, and Tim 9th place instead of 10th place. Nevertheless, let me get back to my main point. Did you ever think that in this day and age, a 698.8 is going to get you 10th place? 698, take that back home. You can't sniff the top 5 with that, chump. Wow. There's your level of cooking there. Huh? 708 wins it. 698, 10th place. Oh. Folks, if you don't know scores, 698 wins pretty much most of the competitions each and every weekend. I will be the first to admit, as you follow the scores like I do, maybe you don't necessarily understand the score, but as you follow the scores like I do, you see more and more 700-plus finishes, but not 8 in a field. I mean, that is tremendous. If you didn't know, the World Food Championships start this very evening. They run through Sunday the 12th, and remember, the final table will be taking place sometime in April of next year. I just touched base with top men at World Food Championships. There is no current firm date set for the final table. Now, the winner of the overall final table that takes place in April wins, how much did you say? $50,000? No. $75,000? No.
Big stuff out of it.
Winner gets $100,000. Holy moly. As final table info is passed down to this show, I will make that available through social media channels. Or if it's released to me while this show is live on air, I'll, of course, release it to you as I get it with breaking news. And this is why I start to lump in World Food Championship on the barbecue side with one of the more prestigious events to win during the course of the year, because there is a $100,000 payout if you can make it to the final table and you can win it. Remember, it's not just barbecue that you're going up against. You're going up against dessert and sandwich and burger and barbecue and bacon and all of this other stuff. So you have to cook the best food. It is not judged through KCBS style judging at the final table. It's EAT methodology, which Mike McLeod has discussed here on this show a number of times. Here's how the barbecue items are running down this week at the World Food Championships. You can keep up with all this stuff at worldfoodchampionship.com. You can get all that info there or visit their social media haunts for updates as well. Thursday at 9 a.m. through 2 p.m., you have the barbecue ancillaries. Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., you have the World Barbecue Championship. This would be the IBCA opening round. the top 5 will move on to the World Barbecue Championship round. Friday, from 1 to 4, you will find the Cowboy Fire and Ice Women's Championship Barbecue Series. Of course, the name is it's right there on the top of my head, and I can't think of who won it last year. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Really? Who let the dog? I'm stalling. Amazing Q. Right. Oh. They're going for repeat, I guess. 1 to 4 on Friday, Cowboy Fire and Ice Women's Championship Barbecue Series. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., World Barbecue Championship KCBS opening round. Top 5 move on to the Sunday, 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., World Barbecue Championship Top 10 round. Top 5 KCBS battle top 5 IBCA to say whose barbecue is better than yours. Awards will be on Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time. So, whereas in years past, the World Food Championships has spanned an entire 7 days, we have literally on this show had the winner of the overall World Food Championships on this show an hour after the whole thing was decided. 2 years ago, it was Lauren Hill from Smokin' Hills was right on this show right after he won it. Then he came to Cleveland like the next day for the Fabulous Food Show. Well, that's not being done this year, by the way. If you wanted to come to Cleveland for cool stuff. Nope. So we should have at least the winner of the barbecue side of things from the World Food Championships on the show next Tuesday. So check it out, worldfoodchampionship.com. If you're looking to take your barbecue to the next level with a new cooker, might I suggest a pit barrel cooker. You see, the pit barrel makes cooking simple and fun. The best part, for $299, this little package that I'm showing you a video on right now, it comes right to your door. It looks exactly like this. It's packaged very well. It has your hooks. It has your hook grabber. It's got the hanger bars. It's got a complete lineup of ancillary accessories that really complete your barbecue experience. If you're like me, you get up in the morning, you're rubbing your butts, you're rubbing your thighs. Also, you're getting all your barbecue ready. You want coffee in the morning, right? Well, why not hook up with a pit barrel coffee mug? It looks just like a little baby pit barrel. It's so cute. This thing is so easy to use. Real easy instructions on how to fire it up. Once it's done, you don't have to sit there and worry about vent adjustments or anything like that. When you get it out of the box, you make one vent adjustment at the bottom, and that is it. That's worked off of where you are elevation-wise in the country, sea level, you know, that kind of stuff. You make one vent adjustment, and that's it. Every time you cook with it, you put it all together, you put the top down. I don't know thermodynamics and burn dynamics and how come the stuff that is inches away from the charcoal doesn't burn. I just know that it doesn't burn. In fact, it's neighbor Desmond's favorite cooker out of the entire arsenal that I have on the back deck. Come on. You know, if Desmond likes it, you are going to like it as well. And again, for $299, you can't beat it. Capacity is huge. You can do 8 racks of ribs at one time in the pit barrel. Come on. Where else can you do 8 racks of ribs for $300? Probably nowhere. Next week, we have Noah Glanville on the show. We're going to be talking about a brand new product called the Pit Barrel Junior. Do a little mind strain there and see if you can figure it out. I don't want to give away the bag, but I'm sure you could figure it out if you do a little internet research. Or just lay out, wait the week, and hear it right from the creator's mouth. The website is pitbarrelcooker.com. That's pitbarrelcooker.com. If you have any questions, call them. They will answer your customer-related questions. Real people talking about real customer service. Stick around. We'll be right back with Sterling Ball.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. You can visit cookinpellets.com and buy, if you would prefer, you can also buy your cooking pellets over at Amazon.com. Amazing Amazon, right? That's what I wanted to say. Cooking Pellets also has a free app which you can download. If you download that free app, it will alert you to really cool shipping deals, which you want to take advantage of as well. I mean, Central Lights, if I know one thing, we love deals. You will get deals if you download the app. All right, my first guest, a longtime sponsor of this show, also one of the top pitmasters on the KCBS circuit. This past weekend, he locked up back-to-back California Barbecue Association Team of the Year honors. Aside from that, he also puts on one of the most sought-after to-be-in competitions each year called the Smithfield King of the Smoker, and we're going to be talking about all of that over the next segment or two, so let's go ahead and race to the hotline and welcome back a good friend of the show and pitmaster of BigPapaSmokers.com, Sterling Ball, joining me here on the show. Sterling, how are you, buddy?
Hi, Greg. I just made it by a minute.
Where were you? That could be more important than this.
I've been doing cooking videos for the last 2 days that started at 5 in the morning, and I just finished my last one. I think I did 10 today.
10 videos?
Yeah, but they're, it's a pretty good crew we have. They did the Pursuit of Tone television show, and it's kind of fun. But I definitely tested myself this week with. I didn't compare ambition versus my age, but I'm doing really well. I didn't take a break, and I ran the hipsters with the cameras into the ground.
These are Smithfield videos?
Well, there's some for Smithfield, some for Big Papa Smokers, and a couple other secret sponsors.
So
it's some content for.
Now, is this the brainchild of Sterling Ball type videos? Are you getting requests for videos? Hodgepodge? What's the deal?
It's kind of a little of both. I mean, look at all companies are looking for content. My company is, but even your plumber has content. So I think when I get, Inc. Magazine featured the Ernie Ball content team for the second time this year, last Friday. And I think that the team that I have does pretty good work. And I think that it's a good opportunity for the other companies that work with Big Papa Smokers to get some content also.
Sterling, before we get into King of the Smoker stuff and some other hot barbecue topics, let's quickly look back at this past
You're
weekend.
Welcome.
Yeah, no, thank you. And thank you. Before we get into that, let's look at this past weekend. You lock up the California Barbecue Association's Team of the Year for the second straight year, by the way. So, from a team perspective, I know you're a very humble guy. It's not about you and all that stuff, but let's put that aside for 1 second. Let's talk about winning California Barbecue Association's Team of the Year 2 years straight. That's a pretty big accomplishment.
Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, well, first of all, if you're competing, you want to, anything you have a shot at,
sure,
you want to try and hopefully end up in a good position. But there's a couple of things. Number one, Matt Dalton from Left Coast, who was one of my dear friends, and I know he's a friend of yours.
Yep.
Matt and Left Coast did it last, and I really wanted to be in Matt's company in there. For the people outside of the state of California, I mean, we fight for respect all the time, and I think people don't understand how many good teams are in California. But if you lay California end to end, north-south, we actually hit Denver. So there's so many good teams that don't really get to travel that people don't know about. And then with the internet and classes, but I mean, DG was Reserve Grand. He's a fine cook. You got Burnin' Lowton, you got Hickory Spice, you got Rooftop, you got Smoke and Lowe's, and don't forget Simply Marvelous, one of the very best. I mean, and I missed a couple of them. Lamar Barbecue. I mean, we have some really good teams, but I'll tell you what's really nice. The camaraderie out here is very good right now. And I think Johnny Trigg was next to us, and Tim Shearer was across from us, and Jeff Staney was next to us. And we just had a great time, the four of us. But I think Jeff knows about California barbecue, and Tim's come out for the guinea pigs. But I think Tim really had fun with the teams here, and I sort of feel bad I beat him, but he did get 2 180s.
But I heard Johnny Trigg kicked your ass a little bit.
Well, Johnny has anger issues.
I heard he's got a gun in his boot too.
No, forget it. It's nothing like his sleeper hold. We were reenacting something that happened in Mesquite several years ago that was pretty funny because at the time Johnny was probably 74, not 79, and he got me in a headlock and he actually lifted me off the ground,
Whoa.
which is sort of hard to do. But so we were reenacting it. And back then I said, Johnny, what am I going to do? Break your nose or your knees? Then I'm the guy who killed the legend.
Yeah, right.
But I'll tell you, Johnny Trigg is just one of the best ambassadors, one of the funnest guys. And when I think about my time in barbecue, Trigg took us under his wing early on. We were on Pitmasters with him, with Diva Q and Big Mista. And from that moment on, Johnny was pretty much a mentor to Big Papa Smokers. And I love Johnny Trigg. I love Trish Trigg. And it's really great getting to see him.
Is he like everybody's got one of those guys or companies or whatever that just there's always going to be that special place in your heart no matter what they do or what happens with them? Is that Johnny Trigg and Trish Trigg for you guys?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Johnny, the people that know Johnny out there, I mean, he's funny, he's firm, and this may ring a bell, seldom in doubt and never wrong, even when he's dead wrong, so it makes it kind of fun. And, no, I just think, look, it's great seeing Tim Shear out there. You guys get to see him and Terry Shear. And, we just had a great time. We ate a lot of food, cooked, and, this year for the Team of the Year, I had to do really well or a couple of people had to not win. So, I mean, it was really exciting for us in California because pretty much I think a couple of the categories were live. For the first time ever, I think the Team of the Year went down to the last day.
Sterling, I asked Andy Allen this a handful of weeks ago as he was getting ready to roll out for the Jack and wanted to get your take on it as well. And you kind of briefly mentioned it, that the West Coast teams are kind of constantly fighting for respect. When you look at it 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago to where you are now, have you gained some type of respect back, or is there still kind of that tooth and nail mentality that you have to take in order to get that respect back? Or have you guys won enough now that it's really not that bad?
I don't know about that. And Andy travels. A lot of the teams don't travel. And Andy and the teams, they're great guys, great cooks, and they're traveling and winning now. And there's nothing that silences a critic like a win.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we're underappreciated. Listen, the truth is, all of America's cooking good competition barbecue. And I know certain guys think that certain areas have different profiles. I don't really see that. The great teams can go anywhere and do really well. I just like to say that whether we think we got respect or not, I think when we won the Royal, that might have helped a little bit. But I'll also say, I'm not saying whether we don't get respect. I'm just saying that the people out there, hey, come out and cook in California. It's a really fun place to cook. We've got some great comps, and the competition isn't really that easy. It's pretty good competition.
I think from a popularity standpoint, and by popularity I mean attended by teams, you guys have some of the higher attended events like a Dana Point, like Santa Anita, just to name a few.
Well, Dana Point's gone, just to name a few. We have
when it was there.
One on. I mean, well, when it was there, I liked Dana Point. We had good times there. I mean, we had Newport Beach, we had Huntington Beach. We're not immune to what's happening all over the country, and that is, since competition barbecue isn't the greatest community event, charities and stuff that run competition barbecue competitions to raise money for the charity really aren't doing that well. So, and then the professional promoter is pretty much gone. I mean, at Endio this weekend, the promoter that promoted Newport Beach and Costa Mesa, both, 2 big contests, he came over and apologized, but he said, I can't do it anymore. So I'm going to cancel both those contests this year. So we lost 2 contests this week. But when we do have contests, we're well attended. And I think we had actually at the Jack, I think our state had the most teams represented there. And I thought that was pretty good.
Sterling, it's a little depressing, and as you said, you guys aren't immune to what's happening across the country, is to see, certainly you can quickly look at, if we're just singling KCBS here for a second, I think they would sit here and tell you, hey, we're growing, but you have to make sure that you're looking at all things. For instance, they're probably slotting in all the international competitions, and you can see maybe a wash or maybe a little bit of growth. But within the states here, you're seeing a lot of contrition. Is there something that needs to be done in order to keep these events continuing to, A, stay alive, but B, more importantly, from a business-to-business guy here, you always want more stuff coming in to generate more new competitions, no matter where they are in the country?
Well, I see a lot of trailers for sale now. I see a lot of things there. And I don't want to pick on KCBS. They have the new judging seating, which, I really respect the guy who wrote it, and I respect that they're trying to fix barbecue and address judging. I think they did it kind of in a wrong way, and I wish they didn't do it at the end of the season when a lot of races are alive. Regional races in barbecue. In California, our California barbecue deal is a big deal. Okay, it means nothing to anybody else, but we hit Orange County with a new judging program.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't imagine Wimbledon changing umps or refs in the second weekend. Or, I wish they'd keep the rules until the end of the season.
Sure.
But again, I'm glad they did something. I don't know that what they're doing is smart. I think they're getting tables to match up. But the problem is that not all the talent matches up on the table. So if you have a table that has 5 really good cooks, and its scoring average is the same under this new balanced judging seating, and you have 5 weak cooks and they're within a point of each other, then I don't think that's really fixed the judging problem. I think what it's done is just brought parity in there.
So what needs to be done? Like, what's a good fix?
You know what? I've written papers on it. Personally, I think there's a couple things, and we're going to get into this with the King of the Smoker selection. If you just, one of the things, we get so much trouble, and I get so many hate mails and Facebook messages because everybody thinks they should have been invited, and I miss people. I only have 15 spots to give to KCBS Cook. But if I just do it based on Team of the Year, you only keep 10 of your scores. It doesn't count the strength of field you cooked. You could have gone around and not cooked a contest that was close to your house that had 4 of the top 10 and driven 3 states away. You could have been somebody who never cooks against competition. And I sort of think you've got to be judged by who you cook against. I think another thing is you never have to give any points up under KCBS. And that's why, for a cook that's cooking 10 or 15 times, a table of death is crippling. For a guy who's cooking 40 contests, it's not so crippling because they're going to get to throw away 120 boxes anyway. So I like to look at how many times you're in the top 10 because I think really good cooks are in the top 10 all the time. Travis certainly is. I mean, there's not a format I think you could create that wouldn't have Travis Clark having one of the greatest seasons of all time.
Sterling, if I could back up just for a second. By the way, I agree with what you just said there as far as Travis having perhaps one of the best, maybe the best, single best competition season we've seen since the history of competition barbecue. But from a judging,
and he's got that big ginger head, and it just got bigger. He won't fit in the trailer.
That's why he got a new trailer so he could fit his head in it.
Did Travis get a new trailer?
Yeah, I thought I heard that he was getting a new trailer, or was he just putting one up for sale?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to buy bigger pillows if you get
From a judging standpoint, let me offer this as a potential fix just to get your take on it. What about something along the lines of an IBCA? where it is more of a, let's call it a people's choice. So you're taking out this certified barbecue judging style, and how does that really happen, and what team is being brought in to show you what's good, bad, and average barbecue, where you just get X amount of people in the tent, however many you need to make it judge worthy for the amount of teams that you have, and then whatever tastes good to people is what's going to rule the day. Doesn't that make a little bit more sense, and would that work?
Well, first of all, I don't know. I've never cooked an IBCA contest. I can only cook so many times a year, so I cook KCBS. I don't know that, but I don't know that you just throw all the judging out. But I think you can empower the table captains. I think you can empower the reps. I think the reps know who's strong and who's weak, and also understand I'm as much concerned with the angel table as I am the table of death.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think recurring training, I think getting everybody judging from the same standards and the same basis is good. And I think there's nothing wrong with enforcing recurring education and recurring training.
But what does that look like? Everybody's not in the same portion of town to get everybody at the American Legion to do recurring training. So what does that look like to you?
Well, that would be like saying, what's your radio show look like? It's called the internet, baby.
Yeah, but it's different.
Training.
You can get on the internet and do a barbecue show, Sterling, but recurring training for a judge to me means putting stuff in your mouth.
Yeah, maybe. That's part of it, yes. You can do it. Look, first of all, I don't really, I think, here's my take on KCBS, and I think this is KCBS judging, because I think this is really, really important.
Yeah, and it is a topic, if we're being fair, it is a topic that is continually coming up. So I agree with you. Go ahead.
Okay, so let me tell you what I think about KCBS judging. I think in the big picture, they're usually right.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't want to admit it. But if you go micro and start taking it table by table, there are egregious errors both on plus and minus. But I like to tell everybody, over a 10-judge sample, 10 comps sample, the judges are usually pretty right, I think. And look, I'm not saying that to placate judging, but I'm saying, everybody blames their brisket, or they blame their rubs, or they blame the judging. And, I think that you can do a lot to help judging, but I do think big picture, they get it right. The good teams win an awful lot. Okay? And the good teams win when they get a table of death and don't hit the angel table. So, I look at judging. I love barbecue data. I think that's a wonderful site. And I use that to improve our ribs, because I looked at it from a big picture thing, took my ego out of it, said, where am I coming up short in the ribs? And over 10 contests, they're the tea leaves for you. They're there. So, I really believe that. I think there's a lot of room for improvement. I think they should improve it. I don't think they should mask it. But I think at the end of the year, I can tell you, I won 10 GCs last year in 25 contests.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 this year. And I can tell you that there's 3 tables that kept me from 9. Or I believe that. And I can kind of prove that. It's a 1.5 from 3 GCs. 2 points. By the way, I couldn't get 25 cooks in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck at 24, and I didn't get in Vegas. So I'm done at 24. I like to cook 25 contests. But, I don't know. And people are saying, "Oh boy, you're slumping so bad." I think GCs are really hard, okay? And I don't take them for granted or lightly. So, it's funny. One team came up to me because we came in 11th in Reno, and he said to Santa Anita, he goes, "Well, I hope you guys get out of your slump." Well, we hadn't been out of the top 10 in, I think, over 2 years, so that was a slump, other than the Royal Injector. So I said, I don't think we're in a slump, but, they're kind of looking at me like I'm vulnerable. Look, here's the other thing. Like I said, there's great cooks wherever you go, and that's what makes it fun. And there's great people, there's great food, It's a great hobby. But if you don't figure out, since you're not going to be able to reduce the cost of competing, you better figure out how to spread the money around and make it so where it's less costly for people, the average person, to do this. And, you know, I am a representative of Smithfield. I'm biased. I was part of the creation of the grant, along with other people. I think the Smithfield grant is one of the greatest things that barbecue,
Sure.
and you still see haters. Here's a company that's putting over $5,000 in over 50 contests this year and committing to do more. And all they're asking this year is to make sure you pay 10 deep and encourage you to have a good charity and encourage you to have kids queue.
Right. And they took out the guaranteed spots that they were going to need for like 2 or 3. They even took that out.
Right. Well, you know what? It was the first year. And, you know, here's the deal. If you don't like it, don't enter them.
Right.
But I know a lot of people, you know, first of all, I think most people really like it, really appreciate it. I don't want to overweigh the social media of people who are very vocal, okay, in a negative way. But, I mean, how can you complain about a company that comes here instead of paying an ad agency, puts it in prize pools around the country? I mean, I think that I don't understand that. I mean, actually, it's one of the things. I think there's more organizations that could probably contribute financially on a team level, on a contest level, on a ground level.
Sterling, can I hold you over for one more segment? We talk about King of the Smoker?
Sure.
All right. Stand by.
I haven't filled the chat room, have I?
Say what? You're what? You there?
I haven't filled the chat room, have I?
No. What, are you kidding? Stand by. Hold on. We're coming back with Sterling Ball, Big Papa Smoker. I want to talk to you quickly about the Chops Power Injector System. Now the 3-time Barbecue Tool of the Year as it relates to the National Barbecue and Grilling Association. From backyard cooks just like me to caterers, restaurant chefs, competition pit masters. There's 3 different ones to choose from. You have the half-gallon Chops Power Injector System. This one's super easy to use. Clean it, fill it, pump it. Away you go. If you have just one brisket or pork shoulder to do, you don't need to fill it all the way up. Just put in what you need. It uses it all. It comes with a whole bunch of really cool stuff. It's $100. You pay shipping on top of that. Then you have the bigger brother, the 1 gallon. This is for people that are in those big competitions like, let's say, Memphis in May, if you're trying to inject a whole hog, or maybe you're doing 10 shoulders, so you can get that perfect one. It comes with the same stuff as the half gallon. It's $120, plus you pay the shipping on top of that. Then, of course, you have the Chops Full Power Injector System. It's the commercial and competition Big Daddy, not a holding tank this time. No. A 3.5-foot pickup tube usurps the tank, and you can put it in any size container you want, from a few ounces to a 55-gallon drum. It was designed for Chef Rob at the best barbecue restaurant in Kansas City, and he has said time and time again that with the Chops Full Power Injector System, his briskets are better than ever. This one comes with a whole bunch of cool stuff. It's $325 plus shipping. A number of the top pitmasters in the country and world use this deal. We live in a foodie world that requires flavor in every bite. This is how you do it and do it fast, and it's not just for meat. How about alcohol-infused watermelon? If that's your deal, go ahead and have at it. Every injector hand-assembled right there in Kansas City, Missouri, USA. They got a whole bunch of extra accessories if you want them. Hit the website, Barbecue Kansas City, BARBEQUE, barbecuekansascity.com, and pick up the Chops Power Injector System. You're going to wonder how you ever injected with one single needle. That was my first question. I was like, I did this with one needle this many times before? Don't do it. Get the chops. Save the time. Be efficient. BarbecueKansasCity.com. We're back with Sterling Ball right after this. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
Already mentioned it in the first hour. The 2018 grant program officially closed for applications. Well over 250 applications were taken while this application process was happening. Huge response. More to come on that as it's released to me. The 2018 Committed Cooks program will be ready to jump off with info here in the next few weeks. So keep checking the website, smokinwithsmithfield.com. That's Smokin' with Smithfield.com for the Committed Cooks program. Very fun. All right, Sterling Ball is my guest from Big Papa Smokers. Sterling, of course, we were alluding a little bit to the King of the Smoker last segment, and this is the 6th year, correct?
Yes.
After the first year, everybody said that it was the best competition ever, and I don't know if it has dropped off in complimentary popularity ever since. So, from the first year when Chris Lilly won it.
Wait a minute.
Well, yes?
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, I hope they still like it. I mean, the team and crew at Big Papa Smokers works really, really hard, and now we've got Smithfield as our title sponsor, and Emily, Deidre, and Taylor, and all that. They really work hard too. I mean, it's supposed to be a positive.
Well, the good news is it does appear that the people that cook it think it's a positive. Plus, you've made it a crowd event, family-friendly demos, like a teaching. It's not go hide and seek.
Well, the demos are awesome, and nobody's ever said no to me on the demos. Okay, and by the way, you get a 10 by 10 with no sides. You get the same size table as everybody, and they're jammed in close. And you can ask for 2 sides, and I'll give them to them, but I'll call you a derogatory word as I give them to you.
Flame them on the internet.
Well, I got to be careful here, but there are a couple people who have asked, and I ridicule them. But anyway, we've got a really good field. I think we have the winner of the American Royal Invitational.
Right.
We have the winner of the American Royal Open, Blaine, and reigning last year's Team of the Year. We have Rocky Top Barbecue, the winner of the Jack and the runner-up at Sam's.
Yep, just on.
And by the way, the really interesting thing was that it really came down to several teams, and some of those teams knew it, and it came down to really how they did it, the Jack. And it was additional pressure that I didn't really want to put on them. But what happened is Rocky Top shot up, but 1-2 barbecue at the same time. I think 18th in the country. Steve Hayden, though, can cook. And, that team's a great team, and his batting average is super high. Mm-hmm. He cooks where he can, and he was just really a pretty easy selection. By the way, I do have a committee that I work with. There's one thing, the committees ask one thing to serve on the invitation committee.
Okay.
And only one thing. And that's that I don't disclose who they are.
I was just going to say, is it a secret society like the Barbecue Hall of Fame or what?
Well, yeah, it is. But, I think, oh, great, you want me to take all this. Well, it's your party. Anyway, but we spend a lot of time. So let me break it down because everybody thinks it's the KCBS Team of the Year.
Right.
And I think the KCBS team, it's the first thing we start from is the KCBS Team of the Year list. And it's the least weighted when we finish.
All right.
Okay? There's majors. There's batting average. That means taking your GCs and RGCs and dividing it in the number of cooks. There's no percentage in the top 10. There's strength of field. Are you cooking against good people? But if you're really not cooking a real tough schedule and you're still appearing very high in KCBS, but you've been out of the top 10 or 15 times, that's probably going to hurt you too. But I also want to make a big picture. Barbecue is bigger than KCBS, and I say that not ripping on KCBS. I think they take the brunt of all of barbecue sometimes, and barbecue is much bigger than them. I mean, and we were guilty of not giving IBCA enough credit.
Yep.
And this year we've got Rio Valley Meat with Fred Rogers,
yeah.
the IBCA Team of the Year, and I think he tied for it the year before. We have J.D. Henley with Buckshot, and we have those, Danny and Corey Lanks that cook both KCBS and IBCA. There's FBA. Rug Bagby got invited for winning FBA. But you got to realize that it starts with Johnny Trigg's always going to be invited. And believe it or not, sometimes people question that to me. They say, Johnny paved the way for what we're doing. And by the way, when we announce on Facebook and kind of dribble out the announcements, I mean, in 3 days, Johnny Triggett had 11,000 views, and I don't want to take away anything more, but his invitations had an awful lot of views. And when the contest's over and the crowd's there, you know, Johnny's got a very, very huge crowd. And I think most people believe that Johnny belongs there. That is, if you believe that I should have a contest that isn't just the KCBS Top 25.
Right.
So anyway, you've got a situation where you've got Johnny, you've got Myron Mixon. I mean, if Myron Mixon says yes to you, you invite him. Myron Mixon when I invite him, I send him a text. I usually hear back from him in like 5 minutes. Yes. Can't wait. Okay. Tuffy Stone. I mean, I don't think you get a classier, nicer cook with a higher integrity than Tuffy Stone. And, you know, winning Jack 3 times and what he did from Pitmasters. Then you got Big Bob Gibson. Well, that's the winner of Memphis in May.
Yeah.
And I love it the first year. The experts said, well, Chris Lilly's not really a KCBS cook. Well, he managed to win.
Yeah.
Chris Lilly and all those guys are really good teams.
You know, I think what was really interesting, I don't want to interrupt you here, Sterling, but I do want to point out that Chris Lilly, Chris Lilly won King of the Smoker the first year. And then earlier, like maybe a month earlier than that, he won that Ozerski's Bare Knuckles barbecue competition, which was kind of akin to a King of the Smoker to a certain degree. None of the extra stuff. It was all, you know, the same meat and all that. So Chris Lilly, I mean, if you know him, you know the guy can cook. But he has shown in different varieties that he's just as good a cook as he is a pork shoulder cook, as he is a KCBS cook, as he is somebody else cooking.
You know, one of the problems is that most of these people, and, you know, look, everybody's busy, but it takes a lot for me to cook 25 times on the circuit. And I still have business. And also in my spare time, I made a record this last year. And I actually got signed to Mascot, which is an international record label. So, I mean, it's everything I can do to get the 25 in, but I love it so much. But there's no way Chris can. There's no way Tuffy can.
Right.
I mean, it just gets too hard for them. I think it's great what Johnny does. But, you know, we have Iowa Smoky D's, and I think Darren's one of the greatest guys ever light charcoal.
Yep.
Ever fire up a Jambo. I think Darren and Sherry are just incredible. You know, you got Travis, you got Shake and Bake, you got American Dream, the Qualls are great couple. You know, RGC at the Jack. Getting basted, Brad, I mean, leading the drum. He and Tim are leading the whole drum revolution.
Yep.
Like I said, Porky Bust, you got Lucky Q, Justin. I mean, I believe that Justin is probably as good a cook as anybody in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Smoke Me Silly down south, those guys are animals, and they wear orange clothes. But you got Sauce, lot of good, great record. You got Gray Street had another good year, followed it up. I'm really excited to invite Shiggin and Grinnin. And you know what? I want you to know I did get the Shiggin and Grinnin breakfast at the Jack.
Yeah, well worth it.
So, oh, yeah. I mean, I don't want to say they're a lock for the rest of their life, but I like that breakfast. Old Virginia Smoke. I mean, Fat Boys, Buckshot, Rio Valley. We have Smithfield has they have the ability to pick one team, and what they did is they used their pick to promote the Smithfield Classic in Virginia, and David Favreau won that, and that was awesome. You got Dirt Road Barbecue, just had a couple of great years. Wolf Revenge, 1-2, Rocky Top. In fact, we met with the committee, and we really came down to 1-2 and Rocky Top, and one of the guys said, I think you should invite them both. Well, it's easy for you to say, but that's what we did. We invited them both. And we do try and think like these. But anyway, I asked if the teams that feel jilted, we don't do this to jilt somebody. It costs me a lot of money and costs the team at Big Papa Smokers. They they work their tail off for months and then they pretty much don't sleep during it. We're not trying to hurt anybody, offend anybody, but everybody's list of 24 or 25 teams would be different.
And usually it would include them going, right?
Excuse me, what?
I said, and usually it would include them going if they're not on the list.
Oh, absolutely. Well, look, I made mistakes in the years past. I probably made a mistake this year or two, but it's not for lack of trying. I mean, I'm really trying to not just look at marathoners. I'm trying to look at people who are really consistent and really good. I'm trying, and let me see the last one, which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And that's chemistry. Okay? You go to the King of Smokers and why everybody likes it? Because they all get along. I don't care if you're Myron Mixon, Puffy, or Darren, they check their ego at the door. Travis, Johnny, everybody behaves. I've never had a problem with the King of Smokers. And chemistry is really important.
This is December 1st and December 2nd this year, correct?
Yes, at the Westin Mission Hills in Rancho Mirage, California.
From a public's standpoint, is there some place that people can go to get these tickets? Is that not announced yet? Where do we sit with if you want to be an attending person?
You can go to the King of the Smokers website, and it directs you how to get it. I also want to really thank Steph Franklin of Simply Marvelous. Steph is in charge of the food, feeding the people. And Scott Rodriguez from BJ's and Big Ed and a lot of the California teams really do a great job of doing the vending because I want great barbecue at that event.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be bad barbecue. And Steph and those guys just work hard. And, Scott Rodriguez at BJ's, and he's also on he's Stinky of Toot and Stinky. I mean, he's a VIP. BJ's is my second biggest sponsor to Smithfield, and he comes and he works and he helps cook the first night's banquet. So, this is a lot of California's volunteers.
Sterling, I don't want to ask you to prognosticate, but do you see this contest continuing on for, let's say, another 5 or 10 years or longer? Or do you see more of a limited lifespan on King of the Smoker?
Oh, I think, you know what? As long as I think it's value added to barbecue, and as long as it's fun, and as long as people treat my team right, I see no reason why it couldn't continue and maybe even grow into something bigger. It would be really nice if there was a way where it could grow into something that wouldn't necessarily have a selection committee, but maybe encompass all of barbecue.
Something that might follow along the lines of a Sam's Club-esque situation, local events, regional events, culminating to the one in California, perhaps?
No.
No?
No. You idiot. No.
What?
No, but
sounds like a good idea to me.
I said, you idiot. Just kidding, Greg. No, I think there's other ways of having a big season-ending contest, like maybe some other major sports. But I don't know that I don't think it would be along the lines of Sam's Club. Listen, I hope and pray we have Sam's Club this year.
Do you know something I don't?
Well, it hasn't been announced yet.
Well, on this show, I had one Mike McLeod say that in 2018, Sam's Club was the National Pro Barbecue Tour presented by Sam's Club, it was going to be back for 2018, but it did seem that in years after that, there was going to be some type of uncertainty, we should say.
Well, I don't know. So you had one Mike McLeod, you couldn't get two?
He's the only one I know.
I know. I was just how you entered. Well, Mike knows. It's his creation.
Yeah, he told me on the show that it was coming back for 2018.
Perfect. Listen, I love that. Look, I want more things happening in barbecue. I want more things happening where money hits the teams. I want that whether it's through sanctioning bodies or big companies. And I think that we all have to do things to make it so where you've got a fighting chance of recouping some money. look, everybody talks about the guinea pigs, and it's funny. They gave me nothing but trouble, and now many people want them. They're too hard to do. So we do one in Virginia, and we do one in California. The one in California is always going to happen as long as I'm kicking, because it's the Matt Dalton, and I don't think it's. I wanted to do something. I took that contest, and I was kind of losing interest in it. And when Matt passed away, it gave me a reason to continue there. And as long as I'm around, in February, you're going to be able to go to the Matt Dalton Invitational, which is a guinea pig style cook-off.
Sterling, between now and King of the Smoker, will you be competing again, or are you done after this past weekend?
There's no contest. I would love to. I mean, like I said, I didn't get in Vegas, and I sort of have bad feelings about that, but I guess just like guys who didn't get King of the Smokers have bad feelings.
Well, you said you had never cooked an IBCA. I'm sure there's got to be more than a handful of IBCA events that are going to be taking place over the next month.
Yeah, but where? I mean,
probably
they're not in California,
Texas.
Okay. How far is Texas from you?
I don't know. I think 15 or 16 days away.
Yeah, listen, it's like the Jack. I think you wanted to talk about the Jack, too, just to remind you. I mean, James drove 36 hours each way. I mean, we have DOT on our truck because of the logos.
Oh.
So for one contest, he drove 36 hours each way.
That's 10-hour shifts, I think, max, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's 8 days, 9 days to go to the Jack when you're DOT. I know you know that because you're in the truck business. But, that's the other thing is that there was another team that going through the border got hit by the DOT because they had a logo on it. And it's like, okay, really, we're going to harass barbecuers now? James got pulled over again because he had the DOT sticker and it said DOT in our number. It didn't have a period after the D, after the O, and after the T. So we got a ticket for that too.
Wow. The DOT's got to make their money.
I mean, it's not. Well, but listen, it's hard for us to go there. I mean, I'd like to be able to do it. I think you were asking me earlier about teams trying to make a living in barbecue. And I really don't know anybody who really is trying, or that high a percentage. I mean, there's a lot of people that open restaurants, but I don't know anybody that's competing and trying to make a living competing anymore.
That business model has been proven to be not necessarily attainable.
Well, I think it's really hard. First of all, look, the old timers, and geez, I guess I'm almost an old timer. I'm old, but I think I've been cooking 7 or 8 years. I don't even know. And I know I get these Facebook flashbacks. I said, geez, I thought I just started. Because I can't find my keys either. I think barbecue's harder now. I just believe that there's so much information and there's so many classes and there's so many talented cooks out there. I mean, that's why I don't think I think it's hard. I think barbecue's really hard.
Sterling Ball is the pitmaster.
That's why we practice so much.
I think that depends on who you talk to. I know a lot of guys that don't practice, or they're very quiet about it, but they say they don't practice.
All right, I know you're trying to get rid of me, but let me tell you, it's like I deal with every guitar player in the world. And there's certain people who can put the guitar away for like 8 weeks and then go up and play the most complicated piece and not miss a lick. And then there's other people that are tremendous virtuosos like John Petrucci at Dream Theater that practices 3 hours a day. I don't think you have to practice. I have to practice. That's what I think I have to do. I also think I can't shave the week of a contest. So I've got a lot of superstition, but I believe I have to practice.
Sterling Ball is the pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers. He has an incredible online shop where you can pretty much get anything you need, right? Sterling, cookers, rubs, sauces. You own Granny's barbecue sauce, right? That's changing the way people think about sauce right now. It's a great sauce.
Oh no, I think Granny's a really good sauce, but there's tons of great sauces out there.
So you can go to the website.
I use Granny's. I use Tim's too.
You use it as like a base sauce, or you mix it around, or you just use it by itself?
Very secret mix of Blues Hog and Granny's on my pork.
Aha, there's ratios involved, I believe.
Yeah, we like ratios.
Yeah, just like the West Coast, the secret West Coast offense ratios that are only held for top men and women in the industry.
No, I answer so many questions on the internet and on Facebook. It's the old, you buy a bottle for $11 and you get a lesson. It's perfect.
December 1st.
It is funny. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
Sorry,
you go ahead.
Well, customer service line, they love to tell stories about people going, so, is this what Big Papa does? And I think they're the hardest people to get a secret out of. I'm probably the easiest one. But I think the girls on the customer service line are tight-lipped.
Well, they're protecting you.
Yeah.
Or so they think.
They're awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, they are. They're just awesome.
December 1st.
Thanks for having fun.
Yeah. December 1st and 2nd is King of the Smoker. You've released the list. If you didn't get on it this year, hopefully you've gleaned some chunks of information that will put you in a better spot next year. So you can head out to California and take part in this great event. Again, it's 1st and the 2nd. Go to kingofthesmoker.com if you want to be an attendant this year so you can kind of check out everything, see the demos. And in the meantime, if you have any questions about ratios and sauces and rubs, just call Sterling Ball, and he'll answer all the questions, right?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you my cell phone.
Well, hold on a second. Let's not do that.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on. It's 216.
Oh, wait a second. That's my number. Wait a second. We want to give people the tools to be a better barbecue cook. That's what we're talking about. Sterling, as always, my friend, I appreciate the sponsorship of the show, your friendship, and your candor when it comes to competition barbecue and barbecue in general.
Thank you, Greg. You do a great job.
Thank you, sir. There he is, Sterling Ball, Big Papa Smokers, and King of the Smokers is coming
All
up.
guests on
right?
the Barbecue Central show appear via the Smithfield Hotline.
Very excited to have the King of the Smoker coming up here in less than a month. Everybody's jazzed up, ready for it to take place, see who's going to be taking top crown. Remember, as we kind of talk about, as we lead up to it, we didn't mention it this time, but usually it's not the list of who's going to win. It's the race to who's not going to finish last. And somebody in that whole dynamic list of cooks has to finish last. It's just the way the numbers will fall. Hey, folks, grilling season is still open for business. I mean, it's going to be a high of 32 degrees here on Friday as we head into week 12 of high school football. And the Galeotto family and Wycliffe High School still in the mix, ladies and gentlemen. We know that Butcher's Barbecue carries a great selection of products, and their grilling portfolio of items continues to expand as well. I talk about the grilling oils every week because I love these products. I really believe they're going to change the way you cook. If you need a buttery kick, or you need a chipotle kick or steakhouse kick, they have all of those flavors. Here's how I use them. They're not aggressive or heavy-handed in flavor, so you can build layers of flavor as you flip. Flip it over, hit it with grilling oil, then flip again, hit it with a little grilling oil. You're not going to over-season, so don't worry about that. And since these are shelf-stable products, it's never out of sight, out of mind. That's like the worst thing with a great new product. You open it up, you can use it, but then it's got those words tinily written on the label that says refrigerate after opening. So what happens? You put it on the shelf and you forget about it, or you put it right up in the front, but over the course of the week, it marches back and back and back to the back of the refrigerator, and now you've forgotten about it. And then 3 months later, when you see it, because you're throwing out everything else that's gone bad, you're like, oh, totally forgot about it. You don't have to do that with grilling oil. It's shelf stable. It stays right out, right there in front of your eyes, so it's never out of sight, out of mind. Lastly, dealers wanted, folks. If you own a barbecue and grilling supply store and you don't carry the Butcher Barbecue lineup, what are you waiting for? Hit up butcherbbq.com, request information on how to become a dealer for them today. Not only will Dave thank you, but your customers will reap the rewards of getting these fine products in their hands to try for themselves. The products extensively tested both in the backyard and on the competition trail, so you know they're going to deliver the goods when you need to the most. Head on over to butcherbbq.com, check out all the products. You'll be happy that you did. Butcher's Barbecue, always trust your butcher. We're back to wrap right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Helen Paradise from SoCal, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Craig Rimpey.
All right, welcome back. Quickly wrapping up the show. Thanks again, Sterling Ball, for holding it down for 2 whole segments. Not easy to do, but thank you very much. And we covered a variety of topics, so if you're just tuning in, never fear. In about 50 minutes from now, the podcast will be up. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes and all the other podcast directories, so never fear. If you're tuning in live, you can always subscribe and get what you missed at your convenience. Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and beat it on out of here. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Bruce Bjorkman from Mac Grills. Learned about all the new stuff that's going on with Mac Grills, why you should consider one if you're in the market for a new pellet cooker. Starting in at $1,700 and up from there. The built-in for the outdoor kitchens around that $6,500 range. Then we also talked in the 9:35 segment with Walt Bolton from Rocky Top Barbecue, winner of the Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off. He'll also be going to King of the Smoker in a couple weeks' time, trying his hand there. And in the second hour, we talked with Sterling Ball for Big Papa Smokers, BigPapaSmokers.com, his website, King of the Smokers. If you want to check out the latest and greatest updates. Don't forget, all week, World Food Championships taking place. So hit up WorldFoodChampionships.com or follow me on social media. I will be giving out results, especially in the barbecue areas, as they happen or as I get that info. So hit me up on Facebook /BBQ Central Show, or follow me on the Twitter or the Instagram, both at BBQ Central Show, and we'll get you those updates. Big show planned for next week already. Looking forward to that. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.